It's not always warm and beautiful in northern Minnesota like it is right now. My parents get colder easier than they used to, so that's why I wanted to put this heater in the side-by-side for them. The Firestorm or these heater, the product here, they didn't sponsor me. We paid for this. But if you want to sponsor me, let me know. Firestorm Cab Heater for the side-by-side. Let's see if we got some heater hose. We got some vents. Oh, all right. It has a hole saw in here. Hose clamps. 2-inch hole saw. Yeah, this looks like a really nice little kit. Let's see what we got under here. So this is the unit, huh? Mounting bracket. Well, I saw before that it said full-size Polaris Ranger. This is not a full-size Polaris Ranger. The instructions for other models see a second set. I don't know if this is going to be an issue or not. If it's all the same stuff or not. Maybe I should call the factory or the company and see what's going on. Going off Russian. I'll try to get the heater in the side-by-side for you, Dad. Well, this ought to be interesting, but anyway, I got the wrong instructions. They emailed them to me, which was great. Very nice. But I don't have the template unless I go somewhere and print it out. I am out at the cabin. Nowhere near any kind of printer. I'm going to try to do it anyway. So what we're going to do is take the hole saw, 1.25-inch hole saw, and cut a couple holes for the heater hoses. Those two things. Because I have no template, I just stuck it up there upside down. Did mark in a couple of different spots. I think I finally decided on where I want the hole. Right there. No turning back now. I'm measuring off the other template. Looks like it's about 1.5 inches between the holes. That should hold true for both, I would think. Well, let's do this. Yeah. It's about 1.5 inches. Makes sense. Center to center. Well, after some measuring and guessing, and I think I'm in the right spot. Time for the 3-inch hole saw. So I just held the heater up under there and marked the 4 mounting holes. Guess the template would have been easier. Next, you're supposed to put the rubber grommets in for the heater hoses. I have not drilled this hole yet. I'm going to do that later. I'm just nervous about not having that template. I think that's going to work. So I put these screws in the main heater bracket. Last self-tapper in there, which should be your first one, but I did it all backwards. As a side note, putting this bracket over this elbow, that was a bugger. You see it's ribbed there? That was a tight fit. Must be harder plastic than I thought. This back here is for the wiry loom. So those are the holes. I just fed the 2 ends of the heater hose up through the firewall. Well, they should be sticking out in here. Just put the heater hoses on. For some reason, it explicitly said to put this heater hose clamp on like that. Make sure it's pushed on all the way. I don't really like this one like that. It didn't say to put it that way. I think I might have rather had it on top, but anyway, hook them up next. Next, I'm going to run the wiring up through the hole that I drilled over in the corner here. Bring them up. They attach over here somewhere, I believe. That must go there, and that must go there. Huh? Let's check. Those are all for mounting the heater. And if you look in the wrong instructions here, they do show this heater support bracket, heater core support bracket, that thing and that. I didn't see that in there before. So we're gonna put this together. There it is in there. Let's put the black wire there. Let's put the red wire there. There, it snapped. Let's turn the key on. Let's turn the fan on. See what we got. Make it work. Yeah, it's blowing out. So, fan is working in the correct direction. That's good to know. I've already installed the U-nuts on this one. I'm going to do it on this one. And you say, I'm nuts. I say, you nuts. Yeah, they snap on there pretty good, don't they? I've got to put the bolt through that, through the spacer, through that fender washer, up through the dash, into this bracket, which needs to be up in there. I'm going to need some help. So I definitely needed a helper or two. It was a lot of fooling around to get them in. But there's not a lot of extra bolts sticking through there, so I did not use the spacers. Those are the spacers I didn't use. I didn't use the washers. This bolt, for some reason, I just couldn't get it to bite, so I went and got a little longer bolt, and then it worked just fine. Tighten up that bracket. It's time to take off this panel. Panel's off. Pulled this loop of hose over past the radiator. Now we have to tie in to the bottom one and the top one somewhere. It says to drive it up on a ramp. I'm going to drive it up on my dirt ramp here. Hopefully the hood won't hit. How's that? Got the front a couple feet off the ground. Draining the radiator. So this has to aim towards the radiator. I think I'm gonna put it down there. That looks better to me. Let's do it there. I cut it just behind the bend here on the diagonal down. Spliced in it, aimed the Y towards the radiator, went up and made a nice gradual loop around. I guess it shows the top Y going towards the radiator also. Well, if we're supposed to put it in the top hose, aiming towards the radiator, I think somewhere in there, and then we'll just cut this back and we'll T in right there. Or Y in, I should say. Right there. Well, the top one's plumbed in. Fit nice. I only cut off that much hose. That's all the coolant I drained out, or caught. I caught most of it. I was worried about, or apprehensive about cutting into these hoses and doing all that. That might have been the easiest part of the whole project so far. I'm gonna put this back in. Probably a good idea to do this. Well, that plug came out hard. There's a whole procedure in the instructions on how to use garden hose water to force the air out of the heater, the new heater. Well, what I did, I took this hose off and I got it up here, which is definitely higher than the heater because this thing, you know, it's sitting at a pretty good angle. And I poured in this hose, I had it up here, poured in it until it started running out of this. I'm going to go top off the radiator. So I drove it for several minutes, probably close to 8 minutes, without any heat coming out of there. And then finally some started coming out, and then it got better and better and better, and it is really cranking out some good heat right now. I do not have the defrost vents in yet. Of course, Dad thinks it's good enough the way it is. He doesn't want me to do any more, but yeah, you know me. I can't quit till it's done. Well, I added about a quart more to the system than what it originally held. So I'm thinking that's what, filling up the lines in the heater core. It does not blow warm air at an idle. That I don't like. But as soon as you touch the throttle, it must circulate enough that it blows very good heat. Very impressed with the heat. Of course, it's a nice warm day. So what I did here was just stick this up there and kind of measure it out so it wouldn't be hanging over the edge like that. Because yes, I don't have the template for this either. And then I'll just stick it in there. Perfect. Now I got to do that one. So I ran that defrost down across the top of that over to the Y pipe. I put these adapters in. They kind of have barbs. I ran that on that one. I zip tied it on. I slit these up the side a little bit because of these barbs. Yeah, zip tied to hold them on. These holes are a very tight fit. The 2-inch hole, tight. The template says to cut the hole over here somewhere, but I'm going up through here. Not too far off that bracket, rather than coming out down in there somewhere and trying to come up through here. I just thought I'd go up through there and the Y here. See, I just stuck it right in there. Well, that's the final installation there, going up through here. I zip tied the center there, stuck it on there. Yeah, it's a nice look. Well, another beautiful weekend came to an end. I sure had a good time. Got a lot of stuff done. Got that cab heater put in that side-by-side. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.